Hi, it's Dwyer, gamblersadvisory.com, dwyervip.com. The movie Creed opens later this week. It's the latest installment of the Sylvester Stallone Rocky series, and it's certainly a movie that I plan to look at, right? Apparently in the movie, Apollo Creed's son takes up a boxing career, and of course, he ends up fighting Tony Bellew, who is one of the better talkers in boxing, right? When it comes to talking trash, few can match Tony Bellew. Just for the Tony Bellew part of the program, I need to see the show. Anyway, that got me to thinking about my favorite boxing-themed moments in film, right? We're all custodians of the sport. We're hardcore fans of boxing. We want to see the sport thrive. We want to see the sport depicted well, right? To me, these moments are my short list of my favorite moments in film. I'm going to encourage you to list yours in the comment section to this video. Let's talk about boxing, how it's portrayed. Now, before I go further, let me say that a few people have told me that I need to see the movie Southpaw, right, with Jake Gyllenhaal and Forrest Whitaker. I admit I haven't, so I'm not going to include that movie here, right? This list might change once I get a chance to see what those guys have put together. In my opinion, the best boxing-themed moment in a movie happens outside of the ring. This, to me, is one of the best actors to have ever lived, and he's on his A game. It's Marlon Brando in the movie On the Waterfront, when Marlon Brando is talking to someone, and Brando, who's upset with how his life has turned out, starts talking about his boxing career and how he could have been a contender. Right? It's great stuff. It's great stuff. He's on his game. Carl Malden is on his game. The scene happens relatively early in the movie. If you're into guys who are credible as boxers, talking about the boxing life with a hint of a throne fight and a fighter not being allowed to realize his legacy, I encourage you to take a look at that movie, right? Another scene from a movie involving another one of my favorite actors, great actor, on his game. And this scene is just a home run. Master filmmaker, master supporting cast. It's Robert De Niro throwing a fight in The Raging Bull against Billy Fox, who ironically is played by Eddie Mustafa Muhammad, the former light heavyweight champion who used to spar with Ali and who today is one of the best trainers in boxing, right? In the scene, De Niro is trying to throw the fight, but he's so much better than his opponent that he's having a hard time doing so. Right? It's actually really good stuff if you're into boxing. De Niro's sense of humor really rules the day. The camera angles couldn't be better. The film is shot in black and white. As I said, I consider it to be a home run. Let's talk about another sequence shot in black and white featuring a superstar actor. Right? These actors are superstars for a reason. Now, I understand this scene led to a lawsuit, right? The other fighter in the scene, historically, was so outraged by how he was depicted in the movie that he sued and actually got a settlement from the filmmakers. The movie's The Hurricane. The fighter, Reuben Hurricane Carter, is being played by Denzel Washington, and he's fighting the then champion Joey Giardello. Right now, let me say this. Many people in the crowd who actually saw the original fight felt that Giardello beat Reuben Hurricane Carter. What we're doing here is just talking about how it's filmed, right? How it comes across on film, the impact that it conveys. I thought Denzel Washington is simply spectacular. Not only in the fight scenes, and I'll say, probably the best fight scenes that I know of shot by an actor, right? Guy who's not a professional fighter. But Denzel Washington's not only good in the fight scenes, but the scene where the decision is announced and he turns and leaves the ring. It's just great stuff, right? In the movie, they have him being robbed of the title. Denzel Washington looks at the crowd, looks at the people in the ring, and then just diplomatically leaves the ring knowing he's been robbed. That's great stuff. That's just great stuff. Let me name a boxer in a great scene in a boxing movie. The Greatest. That's the movie. The fighter is Muhammad Ali. He has just come back and he's just beat Jerry Quarry. They have Ali playing Ali. So as Ali is leaving the ring, a woman steps forward, and Ali, who apparently was a bit of a womanizer. Hey, that's how the movie portrays him. And he's in the movie, right? Ali, who's a bit of a womanizer, stops to talk with the woman, who then tells him that he's an arrogant bastard or something like that. It's a good scene. It's well played. It's edgy. Just like Ali was edgy in real life. I also like, and I consider this to be probably the best cameo I've seen of a fighter in one of these boxing films, right? Christian Bale walking down a hallway. Understand, in real life, the boxer Christian Bale is playing knockdown Sugar Ray Leonard, right, in a fight. So, of course, he's walking down the hallway, and it's Christian Bale's biggest moment in the ring. The movie is The Fighter. And, of course, who's coming the other way up the hallway but Sugar Ray Leonard? I thought it was well done. Both guys kind of play the scene well. Ray is with some fine babe, living the life that young guys think boxing's all about, right? They don't know about the relative poverty of boxers, right? Or the crazy scoring that we've seen in some fights, right? Well, anyway, that's a great scene. It's Christian Bale running into Sugar Ray Leonard in The Fighter, right? Let me also say, too, another great scene to me. The movie's Ali. The actor is Will Smith. He's about to fight George Foreman for the title. He's just entered the ring. This is the infamous Rumble in the Jungle. And in the movie, they have Will Smith as he enters the ring and as he's, playing up being Ali. He just smoothly goes over to the side of the ring and he starts to feel the ropes. It's actually a great scene because, of course, in the fight, he uses the ropes, right, for strategic purposes. I thought that portrayed the sport really well. Now let's talk about Rocky, my favorite scene in the Rocky series. And I'll say this, the series obviously has a lot of great scenes, right? Rocky in the corner, he has a big mouse on his eye, it's swollen, he can't see. This is the 1970s, it wouldn't happen today. But Rocky turns to his trainer and Rocky says, "Cut me, Mick," right? Because if he's cut, the blood will drain out, it'll open up his eye, he'll have a chance, right? Today, you could imagine, you see a trainer taking out a blade, the ref's going to stop the fight. But this was the 70s. That was a great scene. The scene where he's yelling for Adrian at the end of the fight, that's a great scene. The scene where he's running through the streets of Philly, that's a great scene. But for me, in the entire Rocky series, right, the entire series, my favorite scene is Rocky is in some meat plant and he's hitting carcasses of meat, right? He's hitting beef carcasses that are hanging from, racks. This is something Joe Frazier, who clearly was one of the inspiring fighters that had Stallone create the series. That's something Joe Frazier would do. Well, anyway, in the Rocky series, some local news team catches up with Rocky training for a fight, because this is going to be a big fight in town, right? And they're filming Rocky hitting the meat. By chance, Apollo Creed is sitting down someplace with his trainer. And Creed is talking about business and charity and stuff like that. Stuff not related to the actual boxing match coming up. And Creed's trainer is watching TV. And the trainer looks at Stallone hitting the meat. And Stallone looks like he's boxed in real life, right? Stallone's throwing hooks and Stallone's grunting and stuff like that. It's actually a really powerful scene, right? Because Stallone, you can tell he's a hungry fighter who is viewing this shot at the title big time. Unfortunately, I got to run. Peace.